This is why it's so nice to not have makeup on.
That is so beautiful.
No.
What do you think of them?
They're ridiculous.
She never stops whining. I was told there'd be a big castle. It's fine. I can make do in this place. But it's fine. What's important is love.
Right, the most important thing.
And friendship.
This special time of bonding and me asking you lots of questions about yourself.
Right?
Because you really come alive when you talk about yourself, Megan.
And I have my pretzels as yet another token of the high esteem in which you hold me.
It's super high.
Great, okay.
Could not be higher.
Now that I've been keeping for you.
I have full body chills right now.
This is why it's so nice to not have makeup on. Thank you.
Is Meghan Markle the Duchess of Drama or just tragically misunderstood? The internet's been buzzing and we've got thoughts. So grab your tea, preferably homemade and labeled From Her Royal Highness, because this story is a lot. The No Makeup, No Script podcast, but make it PR? Meghan's newest podcast appearance was pitched as authentic. No makeup, no script, just raw Duchess energy. Except she looked flawless, had a camera-ready blowout, and cried on cue with 0 visible tears. That's a Suits promo skill. Remember? Left eye, go.
2/3 of Brits are calling for Harry and Meghan to be stripped of their HRH titles.
Following the legal ruling, Prince Harry ran to the media, shock, and participated in a sit-down interview with the BBC, claiming he does not see a world where he could bring Meghan and the kids back to the UK.
I think it's going to happen. I think what's going to happen because the threat of William taking the titles away. Yeah. But I think once the titles get stripped, I think Harry's...
2/3 of Brits are calling for Harry and Meghan to be stripped of their HRH titles.
Following the legal ruling, Prince Harry ran to the media, shock, and participated in a sit-down interview with the BBC, claiming he does not see a world where he could bring Meghan and the kids back to the UK.
I think it's going to happen. I think what's going to happen because the threat of William taking the titles away. Yeah. But I think once the titles get stripped, I think Harry's...
Do interviews on your show. Do you do the Jamie Kern Lima reactions? Yes. Oh my God, there's something wrong with her.
They want it both ways. These people were so mean to us and poor us, and we don't want all this attention.
40 minutes into the podcast, this little picture, quite a grainy picture, flashed up, which shows a basket of, homemade preserves with a card on it, HRH, Duchess of Sussex, Meghan.
I find it a little bit cringe to give a gift to a close friend and sign it Her Royal.
The host, Jamie Kern Lima, billionaire, Big Brother alum, self-help hype machine, could barely contain her adoration. The whole thing felt like a Meghan Markle infomercial. At one point, Jamie asked, "Are you okay?" And honestly, we blacked out from cringe. Critics slammed it as a brand-building session dressed up as vulnerability. Others called it a staged therapy hour, where Meghan talks about how busy she is. Doing school drop-offs and emailing her toddlers every night, because that's totally what other moms do. Signed, Her Royal Highness.
I have a letter from your husband and your kids. No one's ever seen this before.
This is so bad.
What is she doing? This is really emotional. I have full body chills right now.
For them to be able to look
telling her how great she is.
Oh my God.
Their whole existence.
She loved us so much. Very selfish of you. Really.
Whoa, okay.
In private, somewhere in the podcast, a blurry photo of a gift basket appeared. It was from Meghan. Homemade preserves, ice cream sauce, a card signed Her Royal Highness. Not Meg, not M, but HRH. Even though she's not allowed to use that title anymore. Seriously, imagine signing your jam with a title you no longer legally hold. Critics called it cringe, and honestly, they're not wrong. Meghan's lifestyle brand. Aspirational or desperate. The product sold out in 30 minutes, but insiders say that's because there wasn't much stock to begin with. And that's the trick. Create scarcity, build hype, manufacture success, all while pretending she's just a regular mom who loves dried flower petals on scrambled eggs. Trademark filings for yoga mats and pet bowls didn't help. Some called it a desperate goop-light move. Others accused her of selling an image that doesn't match reality, like pretending to cook on her Netflix show when it looked like she'd never held a lemon zester before. Harry's BBC interview flop. Meanwhile, Prince Harry's BBC interview flopped harder than his memoir's second-week sales. He blamed King Charles for security risks and warned if anything happened to him or his father's grandchildren, the monarchy would be responsible. Critics said he was gaslighting, using his kids as emotional leverage while Charles battles cancer. Some royal insiders even claimed Harry and Meghan's antics accelerated Queen Elizabeth's decline. Fair or not, it's a common theme, turning personal grievances into public performances. The Time Summit appearance, a PR head-scratcher. Meghan didn't make the Time 100 list of influential people, but still showed up at their summit, likely bought in by her agency. She spoke about sprinkling dried flowers on salads as a metaphor for joy. The speech was mocked as word salad itself. Let's be honest, she's selling jam, honey, and cupcake sprinkles, not world peace. The internet verdict, brand over authenticity from Jamie's over-the-top fangirling to Meghan's carefully curated realness. The episode felt more like a brand play than a heartfelt reveal. The Duchess cried, yes, but just like her empire, it felt rehearsed. Critics say Meghan and Harry want it both ways, to be left alone and to be adored, to reject royalty while clinging to the titles, to cash in on authenticity while being anything but. But hey, what do we know? We're just ordinary folks watching millionaires perform victimhood for clicks. When everything is so hard, but also brag-worthy, 1 minute Meghan's overwhelmed with school drop-offs and emails to toddlers. The next, she's talking about how her products sell out instantly, her life is a dream, and everything is aligned and beautiful. It's hard to keep track. Is this a struggle story or a success story? Or is it just strategic trauma dumping to build a lifestyle brand? Either way, the internet wasn't buying it. Critics called her out of touch, especially when she's comparing flower petals on eggs to moments of deep joy. Like, what? Online moms wondered what's relatable about having a live-in nanny, a personal chef, and a PR team managing your tears. The victim-to-victor pipeline. PR. Playbook 101. There's a pattern. Appear vulnerable. Mention trauma. Talk about success. Cry, strategically. Sell the product. That's what critics are saying about Meghan's image machine. The jam isn't just jam. It's symbolism. The podcast isn't just a chat. It's calculated exposure. And the tears? Cue them for maximum engagement. Even Meghan's own anecdotes seem built for sound bites. We're in our sweats, no makeup, just two girls talking. Except one has a perfect blowout, camera lighting, and possibly a tear consultant. Her royal fakeness versus the empowered woman. Supporters say Meghan is redefining success and challenging the monarchy's outdated rules. Critics say she's using victimhood as a branding strategy and monetizing her proximity to royalty while trashing it. She says she never Googled Harry before they dated. But someone who knows her ex-husband claims she had a vision board of Prince Harry before they even met. Manifestation? Maybe. Or maybe just long-game networking. The Jamie Kern-Lima problem. Let's talk about the host. Jamie Kern-Lima is not just a billionaire. She's a former reality show contestant turned beauty mogul who made her fortune selling authenticity. The irony? In this podcast, she came across like Meghan's hype woman. Every sentence ended in a yes. Every emotion mirrored. Every struggle Meghan shared so powerful. At times, it felt like Jamie was trying to out-affirm Meghan. Even her delivery, high-pitched, syrupy, breathless, turned what could have been a meaningful conversation into a meme waiting to happen. Critics said it wasn't a podcast. It was a Meghan brand promo reel with audience participation. Except the only audience was Jamie, nodding like her life depended on it. Meanwhile, Harry's out here picking fights with a King Prince Harry, once the royal rebel, is now the royal liability. In his BBC interview, he accused the palace of failing to protect him and his family, claiming any future harm would be their fault. The timing? Awful. Considering King Charles is battling cancer.
We'll see King Charles do this because he's not confrontational. I don't think that he likes the fact that he's been accused of racism towards his grandchildren in Omid Scobie's book. So I think he's going to continue to tiptoe.
But Kinsey, you recently interviewed a friend of the royal family, Hugo Vickers, who revealed the late Queen was so fearful of Harry and Meghan that she wouldn't want to be alone with them. Let's just...
No trust when it comes to Prince Harry and the picture he tries to paint with Queen Elizabeth, even saying during that BBC interview that the Queen wanted him to have this level of security. We're finding out the truth, and it's that she bothered.
It's my pleasure. It's a big news story. As you can imagine over here, it really has, well, the phone hasn't stopped ringing, put it that way.
And in terms of your initial reaction to this latest news, that in fact it feels like it's a full removal in the sense of not just senior royal duties, but...
Looking for a friend, he knocked on about 3 doors until he found the house, but discovered that, of course, the people he knew don't live there anymore. Apparently, his Spanish family is now renting the property. But as you say, Caro, it makes a mockery of his claim of wanting to make taxpayers to pay for his security.
Answer. Even some of Harry's sympathizers drew the line here. The tone? Self-pitying? The strategy? Another swing at emotional manipulation. And apparently, Charles isn't taking his calls anymore. People are starting to wonder, is this about safety or about staying in the headlines? You can't have it both ways. That's the internet's main critique. Meghan and Harry want privacy, but with full Netflix specials, podcast sob stories, Times Summit speeches, and jam launches, they hate the royal family, but keep using royal titles and connections to boost brand value. They want to be relatable, but keep talking like aspirational Pinterest quotes came to life and got an HBO deal. It's not that people hate success, it's that they hate being sold authenticity that feels as staged as a Super Bowl commercial. Want a third part? We can dive into royal staff accusations and Meghan's alleged mean girl behavior, PR backlash from brand partnerships, like Spotify and Goop turning them down, whether Harry and Meghan can rebound or if the public's officially over it.
Absolutely. I mean, look, there's just such a big difference between the words and the deeds there that it makes you really question the credibility of what he has to say.
Well, this amazing picture of Harry has come out of London where he's buzzing on someone's door. It's been captured on a Ring camera, which of course nearly every London home has now due to security fears. He was wandering the streets of Fulham in West London.
Meghan and Harry signed massive deals, Spotify, Netflix, book deals, you name it, and for a minute it looked like they were going to become the royal Obamas. Problem is, people like the Obamas, and they, well, show up with actual substance. Spotify axed the deal, publicly stating they didn't meet productivity benchmarks. Translation: the content wasn't worth the paycheck. Netflix? Still limping along, but their docuseries was more self-congratulation than revelation. People tuned in out of curiosity, not loyalty. Meanwhile, Meghan's latest business move, a jam empire, has more trademark applications, yoga mats, pet bowls, cupcake sprinkles, than actual products. It's starting to feel like an Etsy page with a $60 million valuation. Staffers whisper, PR shouts. Then there's the revolving door of staff, allegations of mistreatment, bullying, diva behavior. It's all been whispered for years, but no one wants to go on record. Still, the smoke keeps rising. Former aides have claimed Meghan was demanding, dismissive, and at times emotionally manipulative.
Didn't put eye makeup on. And she also is pretending that she's crying. And we did a zero in, like we zoomed in just to see. There isn't a tear in sight. Dan, look at this. I invite the viewers to take a close-up look at this. Where's the tear? There's nothing there. Look, it's an actor's trick. She just keeps wiping and wiping and wiping, so we think she has a heart.
Television Awards 2025 with P&O Cruises. Tonight, we find out who will win an award and who will be murdered. I've changed the rules. This is my first time hosting a major televised awards ceremony on British soil. Be gentle, Britain. And if you think hundreds of thousands of people watching a cherry being popped on screen is weird, then you probably don't surf the internet too much. And I say bravo to you. But enough of me. What do you think of my last movie?
They say she wanted loyalty, not honesty, and if you weren't on brand, you were out. Even palace insiders told The Times her emotional intelligence felt more like emotional control, knowing exactly when to cry, when to smile, and when to weaponize a story. It's a tough allegation to prove, sure, but the pattern of exits is starting to look like more than coincidence. Oprah's couch, the moment that changed everything, or nothing. Back in 2021, Meghan and Harry blew the royal doors open during their Oprah interview. Racism, isolation, mental health struggles. It was explosive. It worked, for a while. They were victims. They had receipts. The world sympathized. But fast forward to now, and the narrative has shifted. Because instead of quietly living their new life, they stayed very loud. Books, podcasts, public spats with the family, and brand launches framed as feminist liberation. Even people who once cheered them on are now wondering, were they ever really trying to escape the spotlight, or just redirect it? Meghan versus Kate, the unfair but inescapable mirror. No matter what Meghan does, she's constantly compared to Kate Middleton, and whether that's fair or not, it's unavoidable. Especially in the media. Kate shows up at a children's hospital in flats? Iconic. Meghan shows up to sell jam in a beige sweater? Desperate. Kate gets privacy for her cancer treatment? Revered. Meghan cries on a podcast? Performative. It's not just a double standard, it's a full-on Olympic event in royal PR gymnastics. But Meghan seems to keep playing into it, making herself the main character in a drama she claims to hate. Even the girl boss crowd is bailing. Here's what really signals a shift. Even the aspirational, self-help, power of yet women, Meghan's supposed tribe, are losing patience. She's now too polarizing for Goop. Goop. That's like being too weird for Burning Man. Lifestyle gurus are quietly distancing themselves. Influencers are hesitant to collaborate. Because Meghan's brand is starting to look like the royal version of a pyramid scheme. All branding, no backbone. As one critic put it, if everything is PR, eventually, nothing is authentic. So, what now? Harry's out here turning every BBC interview into a monologue about danger and abandonment. Meghan's putting petals on eggs like it's spiritual awakening. And both of them keep trying to convince the world they want peace, while building empires on their pain. Maybe they're misunderstood. Maybe they're media masterminds. Maybe they just really, really love microphones. But one thing is clear. For people who walked away from the royal spotlight, they sure don't mind having one permanently installed in their kitchen.